Teacher talking sports, what it does, what it do, how we live. And with the NBA regular season coming to its conclusion on Sunday, I've been taking a look at each of the 8 playoff series. Now we only know 4. We'll find out the other 4 after the playing tournament. But I'm going to take a look at all 8, give my prediction, tell you the odds, just look at the matchup as a whole. I did the Knicks versus Pistons. I did the Lakers versus Timberwolves earlier today. Now let's move on to the 4-5 matchup in the Western Conference, and both of these teams finished with identical 50 and 32 records. I'm talking about the 5th-seeded Los Angeles Clippers against the 4th-seeded Denver Nuggets. So yes, the Nuggets will have home court advantage. We see Clippers, what a remarkable defensive season it was from them. Quite impressive. Paul George moving on in the offseason. Many thought they were lottery bound. Instead, hiring a guy like Jeff Van Gundy seemed to pay huge dividends as an assistant coach. Kawhi Leonard, even with missing so much time, played 37 games, but still a remarkable defense from the team, and 50 wins. No one expected that entering the year. Meanwhile, the Nuggets, 4th seed again, but man, so many questions with them. Of course, mainly because of how the season ended with them firing Michael Malone less than 2 years after he won the Nuggets, the franchise's first NBA title. David Adelman, son of Rick Adelman, has taken over, and the Nuggets are 3-0. Obviously, a small sample size. I think I read somewhere that Adelman is easily the least experienced head coach, really, in the playoffs in NBA history. But of course, the team with the Joker is going to finish near the top in offensive rating, but the defense was a struggle as a whole on the season. You see the Clippers with the better net rating. So let's take a look at the starting lineups from the two teams. So, of course, the numbers in parentheses are points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks per game in that order. Norman Powell hasn't played as well of late, but part of that is because Kawhi is really coming back into his own. So Powell isn't going to see as many looks as he was earlier in the season when he was seen as an all-star snub, and James Harden definitely playing at his best as well. You just saw him take over that Warriors game and help them avoid the play-in tournament. And shout out to arguably the most underrated player in the NBA. I'm talking Ivica Zubac, a guy who definitely should be in strong consideration for an all-defensive team, maybe even borderline all-NBA. Do I expect him to be? Absolutely not. But man, just so underappreciated, and really was a good season. It's going to be a very interesting matchup because he's going to be going against the Joker, Nikola Jokic. Most people believe he's the best player in the NBA, even if he's not going to win the MVP this season, likely to finish runner-up. Shout out Christian Braun. Many question whether he could... he would be a good fit in that starting shooting guard role after Kentavious Caldwell-Pope signed as a free agent with the Orlando Magic. All Brown did was have one of the most... efficient seasons in really ever by a guard. He shot 58% from the field, 39.7% from three-point range, 64.8% from inside the arc. Absolutely incredible. Jamal Murray was out 6 games with a hamstring injury. I believe he's been back for 2 and really hasn't played all that well. So, will we get the Jamal Murray we saw in the bubble, that we saw in the 2023 postseason? Or, will he still be overcoming that hamstring injury? Will it affect his performance in this opening round? There you have the starting lineups for the two teams. Of course, we know the Nuggets basically fall off a cliff whenever the Joker doesn't play. I mean, they do have Russell Westbrook, who started nearly half his games. Jekyll and Hyde. Some games he's so instrumental to a victory. Other games like that Minnesota game basically threw the game away. But, other than him and Peyton Watson, not sure anyone's going to get huge minutes off the bench for Denver. I list DeAndre Jordan, Jalen Pickett. We'll see if they're part of the postseason rotation. I think Strother will be. But Clippers, Bogdanovich really struggled with the Heat this year after being one of the game's top 6 men, but turned it back around, joining the Clippers. Derrick Jones Jr. actually was a starter for much of the season, was a starter for the Dallas Mavericks last year as they reached the NBA Finals. So definitely a important reserve piece. Ben Simmons, those numbers aren't going to jump off the page, of course not. Those are numbers with the Clippers, but at least a strong defensive presence. Batum missed the Warriors game with ankle injury. I'm going to guess he's back for the series. I did not list Drew Eubanks, and I think there's a chance that he could play minutes because, again, they're going up against the Joker. It's going to be hard to take Jokic off the court. As I mentioned, they fall off a cliff when he's not playing. So, he could be playing close to 40 minutes a game, if not more, in this series. So you want to put bodies on him, big bodies, and Eubanks would be that guy more so than any of these other names listed. Of course, Zubac can't play all 48 minutes, so I definitely wouldn't surprise me to see some Drew Eubanks, even though he not hasn't had a huge role with the Clippers of late, but. Those are some of the key reserves, the starting lineups. Both teams finishing 50 and 32 records. Now, in an era where the three-point shot is so prevalent, these teams actually finished as 29th and 30th out of 30 teams in three-point attempts. And that's kind of crazy because they both shot fairly accurate. The Clippers were, I believe, 7th in the league in three-point percentage, and the Denver Nuggets were 5th. So, that'll be interesting to see if any team takes advantage of that three-point line. Nuggets shot over 50% from the field. Are a team that gets to the free throw line a ton, led the league in free throw attempts. Both teams are very good rebounding teams. And we'll see how well they can slow down the Joker, although it might come down to the other players on the team. Joker's going to get his. Just don't let a Jamal Murray, a Christian Brown, and Aaron Gordon go for 30 points, and you might have a chance. So now let's look at DraftKings Sportsbook to see what the series odds are. I checked earlier today. Let me just see if they have changed, if it would load for me. Let me see. Let's go. Skip. NBA. All right, come on. There we go. So series, social team futures, no. Series markets. There we go. It's even. Both teams are listed at -110, so that's pretty remarkable. The two series I've done already, Knicks are -400, Lakers are -200. So tough series to predict. In the end, I just don't know if Joker's going to have enough help. I love him. I'm a Knicks fan, but, I totally appreciate what he's done. But I'm going to say Clippers in 6. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think will take this series? Who do you think will play the biggest role in winning the series for their respective teams? Of course, the Joker, if you think the Nuggets, but do you think Harden can exercise some of his playoff demons in previous years? And can Westbrook beat the team that he played for last season in the Clippers? But should be a fun series. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.